PPC is easily the toughest and most frustrating part of your Amazon business because it can quickly drain your wallet if you don't do it the right way, and I see so many beginners falling victim to this by incorrectly setting up their campaigns, simply because they're going in unprepared. They don't realize that you need to have a winning strategy in place right from the start. So in this video, I'm going to share with you my easy to set up advanced PPC strategy so that you can get winning results. But in order for you to understand why my strategy works, I'm going to show you how the PPC system works on Amazon and why it's necessary for you to run PPC campaigns. All right, let's get started. Did you know that over 70% of all sales takes place on the first page of the search results? That's why it's so crucial that your product listing shows up on the first page. But guess what? When you launch a new product on Amazon, your listing isn't going to show up anywhere near the first page. Why? Because Amazon's search algorithm ranks listings based primarily on the daily sales velocity. That means the listings that sell the most each day will typically get ranked higher in the search results, which is why you find all of the best sellers on the first page, like you see here. And since your new product doesn't have any sales, it's not going to show up anywhere near the first page. Typically, it'll be on the last few pages or not even show up at all. But take a closer look here. Notice that these listings right at the top here say sponsored next to them. These listings aren't placed here based on their sales velocity. They're placed here from Amazon's PPC advertising system. You can find them here at the top of each search page and throughout the rest of the page, such as in the middle and at the bottom. You can also find them on the product detail pages themselves, like you can see here. So as you might have guessed, the best spot for your product listing to show up is here at the very top of the first page of the search results. But how do you get your listing here? Well, as you can see, these all say sponsored next to them, so these are all paid ads. And this is the first listing that doesn't say sponsored. These listings are organically placed listings. Like I said earlier, these organic listings are placed based on their daily sales velocity. No one paid to have their listing here. For the sponsored ads, sellers need to compete with each other and pay to get their ads placed here in the search results. Where a seller's ads gets placed is based on bids. Basically, the Amazon PPC system, which stands for pay per click, is like an auction. When a shopper does a search on Amazon, all the sellers that are competing for that keyword phrase the shopper is searching for compete for the ad spots. The seller that placed the highest bid gets the best ad spot, which is the one at the top of the very first page. The next highest bidder gets the second best ad spot, and so on. Make sense? So as you might have guessed, if you're the highest bidder, then you can get your ad placed prominently on the first page without having any actual sales or having to outsell the top sellers. This can help you generate sales, especially during a product launch when your new listing doesn't have any sales at all. And a common question I get asked all the time, when should you start doing PPC? Well, you should start it right away as soon as your product goes live. There's no sense in waiting. Just make sure that you have all of your ducks in a row and that your listing is ready to go the moment your listing goes live. That way you can start PPC right away and not be waiting around because your photos aren't ready or you didn't finish the listing. Remember, if you didn't know, there's a honeymoon period where Amazon helps boost your product rank whenever you launch a new product, and this honeymoon period starts the moment you have inventory in stock and ready to sell. So by delaying your PPC, you're wasting your short honeymoon period. So now that you understand how Amazon's PPC system works, how do you set up a winning strategy? Well, in order to use the PPC system, you need to create PPC campaigns. And in these campaigns, you can pick and choose which keywords you want to bid on. Choosing the right keywords and incorporating them into a winning strategy is a difference between an amateur and a pro. And this is an entirely different topic on its own, so if you want to learn how to choose the right keywords and assemble them into organized lists to use in my PPC campaign strategy, that I'm going to show you in a second how to do, I'll leave a link to a detailed video down in the description below. Okay, so once you've created your keyword lists, you'll have 4 of them, we can incorporate them into my advanced PPC strategy. But before we do that, there's one more thing that you need to know, and that's the difference between the keyword matching types, and you'll understand why in a moment. When you're creating PPC campaigns, there's a few matching types that you can choose from. There's exact match, broad match, and phrase match. Exact match means it will only match searches that are the exact same phrase, word for word, as the original keyword phrase, and nothing else. For example, if in your keyword list you have the phrase leather wallet, Your ad will only show up when shoppers search for that specific phrase only, leather wallet. Broad match, on the other hand, means that your ad may show up for searches that are similar to your keyword phrase, including synonyms, misspellings, and related phrases. So for example, if your broad match keyword is leather wallet, your ad may show up for searches like small leather wallet red, or leather red wallet, and so on. Phrase match is a hybrid between exact and broad match, where your ad will show up for searches that include your keyword in the exact same order, but may have additional words before or after it. So for example, your ad may show up for searches like small leather wallet or leather wallet red, but not for searches like leather red wallet or plastic wallet. In general, exact match will give you the most control over when your ad is shown, while broad match will give you the most exposure, but may result in less relevant clicks. Phrase match can be a good compromise between the two, providing some flexibility while still ensuring that your ad is shown to buyers looking for your specific product. But for my strategy, we're not going to use phrase match, because as you can see, any phrase match will already be included in a broad match, so it'll make it less work when it comes to analyzing and optimizing the campaigns. Okay, now that we have that covered, let's get started with creating the PPC campaigns. Head on over to Seller Central and choose Sponsored Products. We're going to create several independent PPC campaigns, each testing a different strategy with each of the keyword lists that you've created. Now, the first campaign we're going to create is an exact match campaign using our main keyword list. So in the ad group name, give it a detailed name so that you can easily identify what the campaign is in the future. So in this case, instead of the cryptic default name, let's call it Tent Stake Main Keywords. Exact match. This way we know what product this campaign is for, which keyword list we're using, and the match type. Select your product from the list of SKUs. We're going to choose a manual targeting here and leave it on keyword targeting, since we're going to specify a list of keywords to use in the campaign. Now choose Enter List. Leave the bid as suggested bid. Uncheck broad and phrase match. And then head on over to our main keyword list and copy the list of keywords and paste them here. Then click Add Keywords. Now you'll notice that it set a default suggested bid for us here. Now here's where I suggest bidding extremely aggressive so that you can almost guarantee winning the top ad spot. What I suggest is overbidding the suggested bid by $1. You can see that for each keyword there's a suggested bid range. So overbid that range by $1. And this doesn't have to be exact, just overbid it. And a pro tip, use odd numbers for the penny amount. Since most people are typically going to use multiples of 5, you want to think outside the box and outbid them by pennies when you can. And don't worry about bidding so high. Remember, the highest bidder gets the best ad spot, but you only pay when someone clicks on your ad, not when your ad is displayed. So if no one clicks, you don't pay. And just because you set a high bid amount here, it doesn't mean that you're going to pay that amount for every click. For example, if you set your bid to $10, it just means that you're willing to pay up to $10. If the highest bid is only $1, then the PPC algorithm will outbid that seller for you, so you'd only be paying $1.01. Does that make sense? So by being super aggressive here with your bidding, we'll almost guarantee that you'll get the best ad spot for all of the keywords on your list. And that way, you can get faster results by collecting data quicker and make better optimization decisions. Now, if you don't want to be as aggressive for whatever reason, then just outbid the suggested bids by 25% or so. Now, once you've done that, scroll down and choose Dynamic Bids Up and Down. I suggest choosing this option during product launches. Now, if you're not doing a product launch, or if you want to be slightly less aggressive, then choose Down Only. But I never use fixed bids. Set the campaign name to the same name you entered at the top. Leave the start and end date as default. And then for this campaign, set the daily budget to what you can afford. I suggest setting a minimum of $10 to $20. But here's a pro tip. Because this is an exact match campaign using our main keywords, these are the keywords that are the most relevant to our product. I suggest setting the daily budget to $100, even if you only want to spend $10 to $20 a day. And here's why. If you think about it, Amazon's PPC algorithm is going to show your ads to shoppers throughout the day. If you set the daily budget to $10, then the algorithm knows that it only needs to show your ad a few times throughout the day to try to use up your $10 budget. However, if you set your budget to $100, then the algorithm knows that it will need to show your ad way more often in order to try to spend your $100 budget. But remember, you don't have to pay when your ads get shown. You only pay if someone clicks on them. So it's to your advantage to get your ads shown as many times as possible, and you can do that by gaming the system in this way. Now, if in reality you only want to spend $20 a day, then every hour or so throughout the day, check how much your budget has been spent and simply turn off the campaign when it reaches $20 or whatever your budget is. Then turn the campaign back on again the next day when it resets. Make sense? Now click on Launch Campaign. Keep in mind, it can take about an hour or so for your ads to start running. So give it some time and then do some searches for your keywords on your list and see where your ads are appearing in the search results. If it's not showing at the top ad spot on the first page, then you're being outbid. So raise the bid. And again, if you don't want to be so aggressive, having our ads show up on the first 2 pages is okay. Now let's move on to creating the 4 remaining campaigns. The next campaign is exactly the same as the one we just created, but this time we're going to use the relevant keyword list. So for the ad group name, let's put tent steak, relevant, exact. Choose the product, select manual targeting, keyword targeting, enter the list, uncheck broad and phrase, copy our list of relevant keywords and paste them here, and click add keywords. And again, overbid the suggested bids like we did earlier. Set the bidding strategy to the same as you did earlier, so in this case, up and down. Set the campaign name, leave the dates, and again, set the daily budget to $100, and click Launch Campaign. Okay, and the third campaign, we're gonna do exactly the same thing again, but this time we're gonna do a broad match using the master list. So let's name this campaign Tent Steak Master Broad. Everything else is the same as before, except choose broad match and copy and paste our master list. Set everything here the same as before, but this time set the daily budget to $20. All right, now the fourth campaign we're going to create is going to be a broad match campaign using the misspelled keyword list. So again, let's name this campaign Tent Steak Misspelled Broad. Set everything as we did before, except choose broad match. Copy paste the list of keywords. Set all these the same as before. And in the daily budget, set it to $10. All right, and now we're done with our keyword list, but we need to create 2 more campaigns. Here's where we're going to let Amazon do the heavy lifting for us to capture any potential keywords that we didn't mine ourselves. So in the 5th campaign, we're going to use keywords that Amazon suggests for us. So let's name this campaign Tent Steak Suggested Broad. Set everything the same as before, but this time in the keyword targeting section here, we're going to leave it as suggested. Check broad match only. Add keywords. Leave the bids as is. Again, set the bidding strategy like we did before. In this case, up and down. Set the name. Leave the dates. And set the daily budget to $10 and click on Launch Campaign. And in the second campaign, this campaign is going to be an automatic campaign. We're going to let Amazon control this campaign for us. So let's name this campaign Tent Steak Auto. Set everything the same as before. However, this time choose automatic targeting. Leave the default bid as is. Set the bidding strategy to up and down. Set the name, leave the dates, and set the daily budget again to $10 and launch the campaign. All right, now you have 6 distinct PPC campaigns, each testing a separate list of keywords using a specific strategy to help you get the best results. I hope that you can see by doing it this way and keeping the data separated, it allows you to analyze and optimize the campaigns much easier since you know exactly what strategy each campaign is testing and how well it's performing. What I suggest at this point is letting the campaigns run for at least 7 to 10 days in order to collect enough data for you to make informed decisions on how to optimize them. Don't fall in the trap of checking the campaigns every day and making knee-jerk changes. Now, this video right over here will show you exactly how to analyze and optimize your campaigns.